Hey guys, have you noticed June is a little less colorful this year?
I think we've also forgotten which colors are actually on the pride flag.
Like, you might as well just call me a slur at this point.
But then it just says gay on the back.
No self-respecting gay person should ever be serving you a martini in a plastic cup.
I don't think this was designed for gay people.
In years past, June is a month marked by warm weather, summer activities, and rainbows. Like, lots of rainbows everywhere. You'd be hard-pressed to find a company that didn't have a rainbow social media logo for the month, or a city skyline that wasn't lit up with rainbow LEDs. But this year, it's abnormally colorless. So is this departure away from solidarity with the LGBT community just a course correction from an overly woke corporate culture? Or is it a sign of the deeper cultural shift away from tolerance of minority groups here in America? As an elder member of Gen Z, I remember going through my teen years a little more than a decade ago in the prime era of rainbow capitalism, and now that I'm in my 20s, I think I'm seeing the end of it, at least for now. If you're also curious about the way corporations shape the public image of Pride Month here in America, or you're wondering why things feel so different this year, stick around for a few minutes and we'll discuss the rise and fall of rainbow capitalism. Before we start off, let's get a couple definitions straight, or not straight if that's not your thing. Pride Month refers to the month of June where we recognize LGBTQ history, progress, and continued fights for social and political equality here in Western cultures. The first cultural recognition of LGBT Pride Month was in 1970 in recognition of the Stonewall Uprising, which took place in New York a year prior. Many years later, in 1999, the president issued an executive order declaring the month of June Gay and Lesbian Pride Month. I don't know why I'm doing air quotes so much. I have it in quotes on my outline. And gay and lesbian is only a part of the community, but back then when this was named, that's what it was called. Now, rainbow capitalism, also called pink capitalism, is the practice of businesses using LGBT symbols or cultural references in their products or services in hopes of gaining LGBT customers. So in other words, pandering to queer people when there's no political or social influence not to do so. In the early 90s, some of the first brands to publicly support the LGBT community were Absolute Vodka and Levi's Jeans. They produced sponsorships for queer magazines and some Pride events. While early support was niche, it was genuine compared to recent history where companies would just slap a rainbow on some product and call it a month. During the early 2000s, supporting the LGBT community became more marketable, and we started to see the first appearances of corporations in pride parades and LGBT celebrations. And by the time federal marriage equality was enshrined into law in June of 2015, companies discovered that it was not only acceptable but profitable to position themselves as allies of the LGBT community. After all, it does represent nearly 10% of the adult population here in America. And according to research from the Human Rights Campaign, companies that publicly align themselves with the LGBT community see overall higher profitability. And by the late 2010s, it was commonplace to see every clothing brand drop a vibrant and unique Pride collection every June, with some of them releasing items as early as April to get ahead of the competition. Even during Trump's first administration, it was that lucrative to get Pride products in front of customers. So what's changed? There for a while, it was starting to feel pretty normal seeing companies put out different logos or products to cater to specific people groups, but then things started to feel a little overbearing. The "Hi Gay" era. During the late 2010s and early 20s, pause, that feels so weird saying that. I feel like 2019 was like last year, but anyway, moving on. During the late 2010s and early 20s, we started to see both conservatives and progressives began growing weary of the over-the-top corporate virtue signaling that was practically begging for the gay dollar. And this is when the line between allyship and marketing strategies started to get a little blurry. Well, it does feel inclusive to see a rainbow on a company for 1 month out of the year. If they're not doing anything to actually better the lives of LGBT people all the other months of the year, it feels more disingenuous than anything. I remember seeing memes all the time about, and I'll show some of them here, all the time about companies, how they, at the drop of a hat, will like put rainbows on everything and be super queer inclusive, but just for the month of June. And I had friends in conservative media that would always make videos about how it's unfair that gay people get an entire month, and it's a stain on the moral fabric of our society that we dedicate so much time to queer people. But I couldn't help but think this wasn't actually good for the community, because it wasn't queer people doing this, it was corporations. And I wasn't the only one thinking like this. Many people in the LGBT community began expressing their frustration with this performative activism towards companies who were simply changing a couple things for the month of June in hopes of gaining additional customers. And I feel like this came to a head in 2023 with the release of Target's bizarre Pride collection and Bud Light's infamous, sponsorship with Dylan Mulvaney. Target's collection included items like a t-shirt that said, "Say gay!" gay in all caps in reference to Florida's so-called don't say gay law, and a mug that says gender fluid. I don't know what you're supposed to serve in that, but it doesn't exactly scream something I want to be drinking. That's that's besides the point, but odd items. And as I'm sure you remember, Bud Light did a sponsorship with popular transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. This included a customized can with her face on it in honor of the 1 year since she started publicly documenting her transition journey on TikTok. And whether you think these moves were genuine or not, they were both objectively bad marketing moves for each company. Target's weird niche items and bizarre word choices were off-putting enough, and Bud Light sponsoring a trans influencer, now, not to go into stereotypes here for a second, but I don't know a single queer person who drinks Bud Light. Like, I barely know any who drink beer regardless, but Bud Light, like, what did they think their target demographic was? This was catastrophic for the company in 2023. They lost an estimated 5% of their market share and $1.4 billion in revenue from the parent company Anheuser-Busch. Now, a lot of conservatives were freaking out over this. Target saw boycotts and even vandalism of their stores in their Pride section specifically.
Ethan Schmidt was caught on Grindr after doing this at Target.
And Anheuser-Busch saw huge backlash and massive boycotts from their core customers. With LGBT people already feeling tokenized and pandered to, they weren't really there to defend them, so these companies didn't have much reason to keep up this act every June. The following year saw slightly scaled back corporate recognition, but cut to 2025, it's like basically all gone. There's only a couple brands that even put out a Pride collection, and all of them seemed weirdly shy about it. Target going so far as to hide the Pride section in the back of the store by the clearance items, and most of the stores don't even have Pride merchandise available in store. It's like a special online ordering thing. Plus, look at these items, like, I guess we're apparently back to secret messaging and coded symbols. I don't know what that says about our place in history right now, but yeah, that's the kind of Pride merch. So what caused this shift away from public support? It's not hard to imagine right now why companies aren't hot to trot to support the LGBT community or any other minority community for that matter. The massive and rapid shift towards cultural conservatism in America has made companies supporting minority groups more of a liability, not a marketing tool like it used to be. With the current president openly going after the transgender community and demonizing diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, companies are suddenly scared of being labeled woke by this administration. Executive orders like 14173, titled Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit-Based Opportunity, discourage or outright ban DEI initiatives totally, depending on the type of company. While the laws that have been set into place as of now don't outright ban diversity, equity, and inclusion, it doesn't set the kind of political environment where companies are going to want to keep that kind of thing going. While the laws that have been put into place as of now might not fully ban private companies from publicly supporting targeted communities, it certainly creates an environment where companies don't want to risk getting on the bad side of this administration. And this is a topic for another video, but the recent normalization of hate speech online is astounding. Like, the amount of toxic and really vile comments you see on a lot of platforms, even pretty progressive platforms like TikTok, it blows me away that this stuff is just normal and suddenly okay for young people to say in public. Like, I feel like we're going back in history a little bit here. Heck, even today, as of writing this, the DoD head Pete Hegseth demanded that the name of a naval vessel be changed away from a historic military member and gay rights activist into something else. I don't know. They're basically taking, as of now, when I'm writing this, they're planning to take away minority named ships. So the Harriet Tubman, the Harvey Milk, and there was a bunch of other ones, but those are the ones I read into to restore warrior culture. I don't know if you know much about Harriet Tubman, but like, she was so badass. I can't imagine like a more badass woman to name a ship after, but that's besides the point. That's for another video. And also, when asked about changing the Harvey Milk name during Pride Month, they did say that it was intentional. So that should say a lot about the kind of respect that these people have for a community that represents over 10 million Americans. So what does this mean for Pride? While major corporations like Google, Home Depot, Target, and Anheuser-Busch have reduced or eliminated their sponsorships of Pride events, citing political pressures and fears of consumer boycotts, this isn't itself a problem. I would say that we don't quite have a problem as a community right now, but these cultural shifts away from tolerance and inclusion are definitely troubling. We don't need or even particularly like corporate pandering, but seeing how fake this support was all along definitely doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to see hate speech normalized and cheered on online, and seeing all these corporations suddenly have zero interest in supporting an already marginalized community. But I can't say I'm surprised by it. Weak people and corporations only concerned about their bottom line will morph and change their public image to match any current political climate and claim to share the values of whoever's currently in power. Whether that power being governmental or just online opinions, they're going to be a chameleon and blend in with whoever the big guy in the room is. And as my mom always tells me, the pendulum will swing back and forth and public opinions change like the winds, but I think a lot of people out there are fear-mongering about this. Certain members of the community have definitely gone a little far and kind of ruined things for the rest of us.
By the end of the year, they are going to take my corn dog. They are going to cut it down the middle.
But that pendulum will swing back at some point. People just want to live their life, love who they love, be left alone. And I don't think Google not having a rainbow in their search bar is going to affect that. But right now would be a good time to look around and see who your real friends are, because it's not a time where it's really advantageous for companies to publicly support the LGBT community. So for those who still are doing it, look around, maybe support them if you can afford it. Maybe just keep it in the back of your mind next time you're looking for, I don't know, a pair of jeans or a jug of vodka. Now, before you get feeling hopeless about your place in society or the future for rights of the LGBT community, take a second and breathe. It's important to remember that corporations aren't what make Pride real. LGBT pride and the resistance of oppression has existed long before rainbow social media logos, and it will exist long after. LGBT people have had to fight for our place in society and the rights to be treated like everyone else. And while some more radical members of the community might cause public opinion to shift against us, do your part to show that you're like everyone else and you deserve equal treatment. Most of us don't want to be put on a pedestal because of the way we're born. We just want to live the same life and have the same rights that everyone else does. We don't need to be represented by a big company to feel proud of who we are and celebrate the accomplishments of LGBT civil rights leaders who came before us and contributed to the equality that we can enjoy today. Pride was never about a rainbow t-shirt or a social media logo. Pride is about acknowledging the accomplishments of LGBT leaders throughout history and empowering you to be proud of yourself and make the world a safer, more accepting place for those who will come after you. In conclusion, I'll step off my soapbox for a second, but it is a weird time in history. It does feel kind of weird going from the last few years having Pride be like so loud and in your face to the point where it's like annoying, where I'm like, okay, I don't even like want to be a part of this. It's kind of cringe. To now, all of a sudden, we're like, can I have a little bit of that corporate pandering back? Like, it doesn't feel so great out here. But I think our country is just going through a lot of cultural changes right now, and this is something that might suffer temporarily, but I mean, again, look at the numbers. There are so many LGBT people in this country. You'd have to be crazy to think that we would all just like lay down and let our rights be stripped away. So I think there's a lot of people fear-mongering. Do not give into that. Don't get stressed out. Enjoy yourself. You don't need a company with a rainbow social media logo to tell you you're awesome. If you're straight, gay, bi, trans, whatever, go out there, enjoy the nice weather. I think everyone's getting some storms right now, but overall, June is like a nice weather month. Go support your local Pride event if you want to, and if you don't want to, absolutely no harm in that. You can stay home. You can do anything else. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. But I am forcing you to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, and also like it and comment. Tell me what you think about this topic. Am I being too relaxed about it? Am I fear-mongering? If you think I am, leave me a comment. Let me know down below. I thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your viewership, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.